Okay, hello there. Let's play the fairy song again. Like last time, where we got out of the woods and saw a little bit of the knight's interactions with the modern world. And it seems pretty fun, so I wanted to play today too. So anyway, let's play. Oh, hello. Well, let me move out of the way. Okay. So we are like 25% into the game, so it's going to be quite a bit more, but I don't mind, it's fun. Okay. One little thing and then we are ready to go. Give me a second. Okay. Probably not too much in the way, hopefully. That might not be the greatest. Let me test. Okay, this is probably good. Not that it matters too much if I'm not like entirely visible, but yeah. I thought about telling Gran the truth as I walked back to her house. I even had something of a speech prepared. But do we really want to tell Grandma about the fairies and the woods and everything, especially when Grandma said that we shouldn't go? Hey Gran, you'll never guess what. I went into the woods and then I crawled through a hollowed out tree into a secret clearing and I found this strange girl. I guess I need to move a little bit more. I'll put the glasses on. She says her name is Love, and she's a knight from like the 8th century. Can't we keep her? Please, can we? She doesn't have anywhere else to go, and she doesn't mean any harm. She's even house-trained. Yeah, but not sure if Leah will get this. No well-adjusted person would swallow a tall tale like that. My dad would take it as a joke, while my mom would anxiously feel my forehead for a temperature, but my grandma just might. Like, honestly, it sounds like a joke no matter how you look at it. She's old and suspectable enough, and she's already an ardent believer in fairies. When it comes to magic... Oh, hello in the chat. When it comes to magic, a female knight displaced in this time is almost benign. Well, I don't know. I don't know. But in the end, like kinda I feel that this is like slightly dissing old people. Or the elderly or whatever is the proper term. So Mani, you said this girl is your friend. Well, that's kind of what I thought how this is would like directed. I feed Gran a tissue of lies instead. I know lying is wrong, but in this case, it's a necessity. Gran talks about magic often enough as it is. I don't want her relaying these wild tales to Mura when she comes back from her big shop next week. Or even worse, my parents. Yeah, it might... Like the parents might get like a little worried. As long as my grandma sticks to speaking about vague oblique magic like fairies and brownies, she seems relatively harmless. Like brownies are food, right? Like, is that magic? But a fully fledged delusion like this might be taking things a step too far. Uncle Jim is concerned about Grant's mental faculties as it is. Shortly after Grandpa's death, he tried to get her taken into an old people's home, but Dad and Aunt Leda and Aunt Allison resisted. So she talks about fairies. Jim, so what? She's not causing anybody any harm. Her beliefs are balmy, yes, but she isn't wandering the woods in her nightie, trying to catch pixies in a net. That was more like Heart of the Woods in a sense. Let's just let her be for now. If it gets any worse, we'll talk, but she's self-sufficient enough for now. I think being in her own home will be good for her. It's all she has left to remind her of Dad. What kind like does she need to be reminded? The saga has been going on for the last few months. Uncle Jim's desperate to get Grant taken away, mostly because he wants her house to himself, or so Dad says. But this honestly sounds like really realistic drama. Like from the little I have heard about these things like this is kinda realistic. I don't want to give my greedy, grasping uncle more ammunition. That's why I decided to tell a little white lie regarding Leo's true identity. I think it will be easier for everyone that way. But there is also the whole can of worms, like with the old school attire and everything. But then again, like I guess Grandma probably doesn't like understand the main character's outfit either. So she's like, so it's like just a different side of the coin. Like either the young people are like gods, or then like some LARPers. But unfortunately for me, Leof doesn't make the most convincing 21st century schoolgirl. The moment Leof stepped foot in Grandma's not so humble abode, she started to look around with the eagerness of a child at a theme park. Though it probably doesn't matter because Grandma was treating the main character as a kid too, I guess. But this probably fits her worldview in a way. Grandfather clock in the entrance hall procured from her a soft grasp of delight, as did the paintings on the walls. Yeah, I guess like there weren't even like clocks in the 8th century. It was also, well, like there were probably like sundials, I guess. Like those are like ancient technology, but not like mechanical clocks, I guess. At least I think so. I'm not actually sure. But like Leonardo da Vinci and stuff like that were way later in time. So I guess there wasn't like too much. I was able to separate Leof in the living room with some difficulty, but she seems even more overwhelmed here than she was before. The mahogany bookshelves and the plush reclining chairs are a particular source of interest for my unusual guest, but nothing has commanded her attention more than the widescreen television. Yeah, that's probably pretty new for somebody who has never seen like electricity or anything. Like in the like there were like tales that like at the change of the 19th and 20th century, well, a bit later I guess. But when like the cinema became a thing, like people were scared about the things because they didn't know they weren't real. Like if you had like a bit like a movie about a train, and then they would be scared that they would be run over by it. So I did scrub the worst of the blood from her sleeve before introducing her to my grandma. Yeah, that's a good idea. I just hope it's enough. Did you say her name was Liaf? That's right. My what an unusual name. It's very pretty though. It's nice to meet you, dear. How do you know my money? Liaf doesn't reply. She's too busy staring at the television. I don't think I have ever seen anybody more fascinated by a blank monitor before. Oh, it's not even on yet. Liaf? Gran looks at me, frowning. Is your friend alright? She's fine. She's just a little tired from the long journey. She came here on the bus, and you know what the buses around here are like. Oh yes, they stop at every single small village between here and Grimsby, and the roads are awful. You get rattled around like a bowling pin. It was good of Leo to come here despite that. You must be good friends. Ahaha. Yeah, I guess. It's not like I can tell Gran. I've only known Leo for a few hours. That'd make things way too complicated. Yeah, well, like, you could be like, we haven't known each other that long. But like, we have chemistry or something. Does he go to the same school as you? That's right. I was complaining to her about having to spend my summer here, and she decided to pay me a visit so I wouldn't be too bored. Isn't that right, Liaf? I nudge Liaf in the ribs with my elbow and she jumps. What? Oh yes, indeed. That is all correct. I came to Fenchapel so I could see my lady, Mani, because we are such good friends. Yeah, this kinda feels like this is going to weird directions later. Her delivery is so wooden, she might as well be reading off a script. Not that Leo can read. She's never been to school, unlike me, as she never had a chance to learn. She's also rotten at telling lies. I wonder if that's a side effect of being an honorable knight. Maybe twisting the truth goes against her chivalric code, whatever that is. Probably. Like not super honorable. Though at least, there's one thing I'm certain of. Despite her striking looks, Diof would make an absolutely terrible actress. I had to pick her up from the bus station outside the corner shop. It was a bit delayed, and that's why I took a while getting back here. Yeah, the lies are just like piling up. I'm sorry I didn't mention it sooner, it kinda slipped my mind. Oh, that's quite alright. I'm forever forgetting things myself. I hope you haven't inherited my patchy memory, Mani. It can be quite a burden. Okay, well, hopefully Grandma will forget all the weird things that happen. Tell me about it. Miss Partridge is always getting on my case when I forget the stupid foil method. Like it matters. Like what is foil method? That cow had it in for me since day one. Now. Grant thoughts reproachfully. That's no way to talk about your teacher. I'm sure Mrs. Partridge only wants the best for you. Remember, I used to be a teacher myself. Oh, I didn't remember at all. Yeah. Anyways, I hope you weren't too worried that I took so long to get back. I was a bit concerned, yes, but I have faith in you. You're a clever girl, Mani, and I knew you'd be safe. Yeah, sure, super safe. You would never be so foolish as to venture too far into the forest, particularly after all my warnings. Yeah. Ahaha, yeah, right? Gran has so much misplaced faith in me. Pretty much all the adults in my life, Mrs. Partridge being chief among them, think I'm a colossal screw-up. My mother's forever getting on my case, and my teachers all make snarky remarks when I conveniently forget my homework or my PE kit. I'm not used to adults genuinely believing in me. If only my grandma knew the truth. Would she be quite so quick to trust me then? Yeah, but in a way, like... Well, to an extent, it's probably like better to let some of the lies go past. Because like if everybody like distrusts like a kid, then like it will be super miserable. It's probably like better to be like a good example than well, be mean to her. Well, it's certainly kind of you to venture out here during your summer holiday, Leof. Though I have little to keep you amused. There isn't very much for young uns to do in these parts, I'm afraid. There aren't any shops or cinemas. I'm afraid you'll find it dreadfully dull here. But thankfully there aren't like too many like things, because she will get overwhelmed by that. Are you sure you won't be bored? I very much doubt I could be bored, even if I tried. I have only explored this fine settlement I declare in the ribs with my elbow. Was that surreptitious enough? At least it seems to have gotten the point across. Like settlement, like it's a little weird, but not like that bad. I don't think it will like raise the alarms yet. I mean, village for a short while, but it is quite commendable. You need not worry about me. I'm certain I will find no shortage of things to do here. Like she is like speaking like really fine English. But that is reassuring, though I fear you're being too kind. I'm fond of this place myself, but I know it can't hold a Patson Grimspy or even Cleethorpes. Cleethorpes, what's that? You haven't heard of it? Hurry to interject before Leof can make your ignorance even more apparent. Leof goes to my school, but she's not from Grimspy. She lives in what's a suitably tiny, out-of-the-way village Leof might hail from. I have pretty thorough knowledge of all the towns and villages near Grimspy, since I always help my dad navigate while he's driving. I run an alphabetical list of suitable settlements in my head, pondering before I settle on Fullstow. Fullstow is it, but that's even smaller than Fenchapel. I know, right? Leof's always telling me there's nothing there. She was even impressed that Venchapel had a school. Can you credit it? Okay, that's actually like a clever lie, because then it will explain things. Like now the grandma is just like those Cecil from the... well, pretty much from the woods. Her parents are kinda protective, so she doesn't get a chance to go out much either. Ha ha ha. Anyway, can Leo stay with us? She came all this way to see me, and your house is huge. She can have one of the spare bedrooms, there's loads of them. Well, I suppose having another guest might make things a bit less lonely. You wouldn't believe it now, but this place used to be so lively once upon a time. I had 5 children, and though herding them off to school every morning was stressful, it was also very rewarding. Okay, yeah, that's a big difference compared to now. Like I'm from like a tiny bit of a big family, but not like 5 children. And I can easily imagine like it being really noisy at times. It felt like those times would always last. But then my children grew up, moved out, and they had children of their own. Yeah, like my parents like take care of a lot of their grandchildren, and like it is super noisy now too, so well, they don't get the same luxury as grandma here. It was just Frank and I for a while, but he passed away last winter, and this big house has never felt emptier. I suppose that's what happens when we get older, but... Gran shakes her head, her pale eyes roomy with reminiscences. But never mind all that now. I don't want to put your friend off. There's nothing more intolerable than a silly old woman who can't stop harping on about the good old days. On the contrary, my good woman, I found your stories most interesting. I am of the opinion people should learn from their elders and betters, for they have experienced things we have not. That is the only way we can better ourselves. Yeah, she's like the direct opposite of the main character. Why, if this were the 8th century, you would be respected for your advanced years. People would come from miles around to hear your words of wisdom. Is that so? Yes, indeed. I have a vested interest in the 8th century, and I know these things. Okay, yeah, that's a good lie. At least one from her. Well, I do quite fancy being a druid. My children, bless their hearts, don't take the ramblings of the old mother seriously, and neither does my lovely Mani, though she nods her head and pretends to act interested. They all think I'm mad when I start waffling on. Not that I can't blame them, the times have changed. They certainly have. They have changed more than I ever imagined they could. What do you mean by that, dear? Oh, don't pay Lev too much mind. She's really into history. She always talks like this. Isn't that right, Lev? Yes, indeed, history is one of my passions. Then I'd be more than happy to welcome you into my home. I'm a piece of history myself. I'd be only too happy to share my stories with you. That sounds wonderful. I love to converse more with residents of this era. Yura Siemens. They was pretty into World War II. Ha ha ha. Ha. Leo stares at me. I know the words "What World War" hanging on her lips, so I hasten to hurry the conversation along. So Leov can stay here, is that right? It's quite fine with me. I'd be glad for her company, though I can't imagine she'd want to spend too much time with me. You two girls should enjoy yourselves. You only get to experience your youth once. Don't let me hold you back, but I'm sure they will enjoy in due time. There's precious little to do, but the church is very pretty, and there's a small library. But she can't read. There's the forest too, but I'd warn you not to venture out too far. Strange creatures lurk in the forest, my darlings. And if they catch you, they'll never let you go. No, except this time. For once, I don't shake my head and roll my eyes at my grandma's apocryphal warnings. How could I? She's been right the whole time. The forest is enchanted. And I'm sure I've only witnessed a small sliver of what it has to offer. So what do you think about this house? Oh, it's simply amazing. Leo twirls about in the kitchen, her fingers clasped together at her front like Maria from The Sound of Music. No idea, I'm uncultured, so I don't know what that looks like. I know what it looks like, but I don't know the reference. You just need to replace this backdrop with the sprawling Austrian Alps, and you'd have an almost perfect shot-for-shot rendition of the movie. Speaking of which, I've never actually seen The Sound of Music all the way through to the end, to my mother's chagrin. It's way too long and I have better things to do with my time. I can hardly believe your grandmother lives in this house on her own. Why, it's large enough to accommodate 10 whole families. My grandma did have a family, but her sons and daughters are all grown up now, and her husband's dead. Oh yes, your grandmother did mention that. The excitement must have gone to my head. I apologize. I was not thinking. Leo pauses her exuberant twirling, her expression suitably contrite, as she glances around the kitchen. There's an old sepia-tinted photograph hanging on the wall of my parents from 40 years ago. They look young and happy. My grandma with her chiffon hat and pearl earrings. My grandfather with his slick back hair and button-up shirt. My grandparents are posing on their sprawling lawn in front of the lake with their 5 children: Uncle Jim, Aunt Allison, Uncle Stephen, Aunt Leda, and my dad, with bruised knees and a bright grin. I've always been fascinated with that photo. She's probably even more because he probably thinks it is a painting or something. It's strange to see my grandparents looking so young, with only a few wrinkles about their eyes and mouths. What is this money? Is it a portrait? I guess it's kind of a portrait, yes. It's easier going along with that than explaining what photographs are, particularly when I'm not entirely sure how they work myself. Yeah, well, I know how they work, but it's kinda tough to explain. Yeah, like I don't know, like you would have to like go from alchemy to chemistry first and then kinda to physics to explain it. I mean, would I Google? I don't think so. For a portrait, it looks incredibly lifelike. The painter must have had a very keen eye. And who are the people within this frame? They look somewhat familiar. That woman? Here appears my gran. She's posing by my grandma's side, an arm wrapped protectively around her waist. Is she your grandmother? That's Grandma Iris, yeah. And Grandpa Frank's next to her. I think you would have liked Frank. If you could have met him, everybody did. He was a nice man. He liked going for walks in the forest too. He knew which mushrooms were edible and which weren't. He could tell the birds apart by the sound of the cries. I kinda know what mushrooms are edible to. Like we go pick mushrooms in the autumn. He sounds like a fine man indeed, and so does his family. They look very happy together. Yeah, but rip. I'm sure they were. His family is quite a large one too. I don't know, like I think the families used to be pretty large in the past too. Though I guess like in the medieval times, like there were like diseases and stuff. Like you had like no Medicare or anything, so people would like pretty regularly not make it to the adult life, I guess. Really, yeah. Ben's family is even bigger than this back in your day. They were, if the mothers could survive the strain of childbirth. Well, that too. Of course, bereaved husbands often took on one or two more wives after their first had died. Yeah, that's a yikesy. Well, that's like... That's not even like the medieval, like... Probably still was a thing in the 17th and 18th century, and to a degree the 19th. Like I think at the halfway of the 19th century, like people got like some grasp of like medicine and like bacteria and stuff. There were like ideas, but not like fully understanding them yet. It has been a thing for a really long time. But I only ever had my brother Edmund. Our family was unusually small, and the two of us were very close. Goth we were at least about Leo's size and 6 her head. I doubt we ever smiled quite as much as my grandmother's family did. They looked so carefree. Though it was a different time. And yet, no matter what age it is, people still get old and die. This house must have been filled with happiness once. Now it feels rather sad. A large house like this is certainly impressive, but it does feel somewhat cold. Not that I wish to judge your grandmother's abode. I apologize if I have said anything uncouth. It's fine, I'm not upset. In fact, I agree with you. It seems a little funny that Leo should be so concerned with manners. Given she speaks with an oddly intense kind of politeness, I don't know if she could upset anybody even if she wanted to. Yeah. Yeah, the style is. Maybe like somebody would take like, well, find its style a little upsetting. But apart from that. Anyway, now that you have met my grandma, I think you should probably have a bath. Oh yes, you are quite right. I did get rather dirty during my skirmish. Dirty is one way of phrasing it. I managed to clean most of the blood from her clothes, but I bet her arm's still dripping with it. Is there a place I may bath nearby? Perhaps a lake, or else a small stream. Well, there is a lake in the garden, but... Wonderful, then I shall go there post haste. Wait. I grab hold of Leof's shoulder before she can go storming off. I might have been able to explain Leof's more prominent quirks to my grandma, but skinny dipping in her lake would be taking things way too far. Yeah, YouTube wouldn't be happy about that either. There'll be no coming back from that social folks path. Yeah, it would be something else entirely. This is the 21st century, remember? You don't need to clean yourself in a lake. In fact, that's largely frowned upon. Then how else am I supposed to get clean? I don't understand. You don't need to understand, just come with me. We need to go upstairs. Upstairs. But my lady, how could there be a large body of water upstairs? The ceiling does not look nearly deep enough to accommodate such a thing. Oh, you'd be surprised. But like this takes like the... like not understanding the modern time like much further than in Heart of the Woods. I got the feeling. Then, are you saying... Leof's eyes sparkle with childish excitement. Is there a manner to clean oneself using magic? You don't know the half of it. Prepare to be amazed. How incredible! The water is appearing from thin air. It looks so clean and pure. Just like glass. Could it be? Leof reaches out, her left hand curled about the side of the bathtub. She brushes the stream of running water with her fingertips and then... Oh! She gasps, either in surprise or delight. It's hard to tell, and draws back, amazed. It feels just as real as any other water, and it is warm too. How could this be? Is this some kind of enchantment? Nah, it's nothing that fantastical. This is just a miracle of modern plumbing. Plumbing? Leof's brow furrows. What is that? And how does that work? Please tell me. Like, how can you explain that either? Like, it's so far back in the past. Like the... Oh, I guess like the Roman Empire had like the aqueduct thingies. Maybe you could explain it around that, like it is like an aqueduct, but like a really tiny one or something. With nary a warning, Leof reaches out and entwines my fingers between her own. The fingertips of her right hand are a little damp from the bath water, and a few loose droplets trickle down my digits. I wish to learn as much about this era and its wonderful inventions as I can. It is only now I realize how truly ignorant I am. But I will preserve. I will do my utmost to understand how this so-called plumbing works. Well, about that. I glance away shyly. Why am I so retiring around this girl? My cheeks tinged pale pink. The office standing so close to me, our noses are only inches apart. I can feel her breathe on my cheeks, so my skin prickles. Oh, it's pretty understandable, like somebody taking your hand like that and like she's like a nice person and everything too. Does she have no concept of personal space? Perhaps that wasn't invented back in the 8th century, just like schools, photographs, and running water. But like in the past, like from what I have like read, it was like women being like all like huggy and stuff with each other was like way more like approved because they thought like, well, women are all also innocent that won't do anything bad, so it is just like it's just good. And then like also like women were supposed to be like affectionate and stuff, so like it was approved. But like women and men mingling, and that was a different matter entirely. Oh yeah. Well, I guess like they could have had like the, I don't know how they are called, but like you can hand crank it in a way and it will deliver the water, whatever. I got the feeling that like it is pretty like it's more modern tech at least than the 8th century or whatever. Like in the 19th century and probably 18th century, sure, they definitely had that. But I don't know, like if beyond that, but it would be kind of interesting actually to study these things. Like these are actually pretty interesting questions. Like how far back do the inventions go? Like these days you take like the modern like inventions granted, but it's interesting to see like, oh yeah, they only became a thing like this late in the history, or some things were like actually surprisingly old. If you wanna know how it works, you could always Google it. That would help her. Yeah, 15th century sounds like it could be plausible. Yeah, there is like a huge difference between 8th and 15th century. I got the feeling that it could be plausible. Google, what is that? It's a search engine. You ask it questions and it can give you answers. Most of the time at least. Yeah, I kinda get the feeling that now she's going to be even more confused. Thankfully AI wasn't the thing or well the large language models when this game was made. I don't want them to talk about that. Then is this so-called Google some kind of wise truth or maybe an oracle? I guess you could say that, yeah. Well, let's not get into a discussion about the World Wide Web now. I don't even understand how Wi-Fi works, and I use the internet practically every single day. I kinda understand how it works, but it's also like a huge can of worms. Like encoding like data and signal theory and like stuff like that, error correction and everything. If Leo's guessing poetic about the wonders of running water, wait until she learns about Amazon and Twitter and Facebook. I think they might just have a heart attack, about Twitter in particular. Well, rip Twitter though, there is no Twitter. Speaking of heart attacks, you're standing a bit too close. Oh yes, my apologies. Oh, I like the effect though that like the background is zoomed in. Kinda got the feeling that I should use that too when like the characters are moving closer to each other, like it is a nice emphasis. In my games, that is. Liv draws back, smiling bashfully as she does so. I did not mean to make you uncomfortable, my lady. Please forgive me for my gross breach of conduct. I was so overwhelmed, I quite forgot my manners, but oh, this era is truly wonderful. I'm surrounded by so many incredible things. It makes me wonder how I was able to live without all these conveniences. Well, at least like she is taking this in a good way. Like at the end of the game, she's probably just like laying on the sofa and watching TV and eating popcorn. At this rate. Lev takes a seat on the side of the bathtub, which is slowly filling with water. The water drums against the side of the tub, and a faint sheen of mist settles upon the brass taps and the tiles. The mirror above the sink starts to fog over. Maybe I think vaguely, the water is just a little too hot. I don't want Lev scalding herself when she finally climbs into the tub. I wish to know as much about this world as possible, so that I may assimilate. I have no desire to cause you any grief. I know I must seem woefully anachronistic to you, but these are all new experiences for me, and it is hard for me to react appropriately. I am doing my best to behave as a knight should, yet this is all so very much to take in. I am not bothering you, am I, my lady? No, you're no bother. If anything, I think Lev looks kind of cute when she waxes poetic about all these simple things I take for granted. But catch me saying that out loud in a hurry. I wouldn't want her to get a swollen head. It's not like her cuteness completely offsets her annoyingness. I don't know, like she's not annoying to me. Like I would be all thumbs up about this situation. Now, do you think you'll be alright in the bed on your own? What? Theo stares at me. Are you not going to bed with me, my dear lady? What? No. Of course I don't want to bed with you. It's out of the question. Well, is it really? I guess like it is like slightly different than being in a bathhouse. Also like cramming into the bed together, like it might be kind of weird, so I do get it. Well, like I do get it from the like lesbian perspective why this is a problem, but like from straight people's perspective, I don't think it should be like that big of a problem. But like when you're gay, like you kinda want to be like sure that people won't be like taking things the wrong way. What? But why? Does it really not understand why I'm so opposed to her modest proposal? Or is he trying to play some kind of joke on me? I don't know, like... Oh, I guess it could also be like a cultural thing, because in the Finland, like we have saunas and stuff, so like we aren't like that bashful about nudity. So like maybe that also makes a difference, like maybe it's like a harder sell on UK than it is here. But like to me, like her proposing that it's like it's not like outlandish. It kinda sounds like let's go to sauna together, in a sense. Lev doesn't seem like the kind of girl who'd find pleasure in flustering other people, so I guess I'll have to go for option A. She really is pure. Either that or a fool. Well, she doesn't know like how these things work these days. I can't bet with you, that isn't how things are done in this era. Well, I wouldn't like outright say like it's out of question. It isn't? No. I felt, see, why not? We are both women, there should be no cause for scandal. Yeah. That's how it worked in the past. Like if you were both women, like it would take like pretty like hefty evidence for people to go like okay, they are doing weird things together. Fighting was a communal activity back in my time. Women would often help scrub one another. It made things much simpler. Maybe it was normal in your era, but times have changed. You don't need to help me. I have been washing myself since I was a little kid. Oh, that is rather sad. But if that is the way things are done here, I cannot complain too much. It does seem somewhat strange to me though. I cannot understand your reasoning at all. Because it hasn't like really explained like what is the reason. The top seems big enough for both of us, and you also need to have a bath. Would this not save time? It's not about time so much. It would be convenient, sure, but that isn't the real problem here. I can hardly get into the tub with a girl I have known for less than a day. Yeah, well, that's kinda the problem. Like in a sense, but also like in a sense. In a sense, I got the feeling that it doesn't need to be like a huge problem. But like different people like certainly have like different like levels of threshold, like where you can do things together and where you can't. So like maybe it's about like it is a personal matter and to an extent a cultural matter. I'm sorry, but it really isn't possible. You go in the bath first, I'll follow after. But you are my lady, and I am your humble knight. Does it not stand to reason that you should bath before I? That seems only fitting. Don't worry about it too much. You need to wash all that blood from your shoulder. I'm fine with waiting. Well, like, I kinda see like Leo's point though, like you will be bathing in bloody water. Well, I would prefer it if you would stay here, so I can protect you should any trouble arise, but I do not want to be a burden either. Like, most likely nothing is going to happen though. If you think it is best we bathe separately, then that is what we shall do. Your wish is my command. Thank God. I was afraid Leo would insist otherwise. I'm glad she's willing to listen to me. She wouldn't be much of a knight if she didn't, but her words make me pause. But there was like a certain other knight that didn't listen. What was supposedly still a knight. Why would you need to protect me? Yeah, like protect from what, like water? Well, like really small children, yeah, like then like you absolutely need to watch when they are in the bath. Like you never know like what happens otherwise. But that's a different matter. One can never be too careful. As your knight, if I let you get hurt. That's kinda overreacting too. I won't get hurt. We are not in the forest anymore. Grand's house is safe. Yes, I imagine it is. It should be at least, but yeah, she's definitely overreacting. Leo frowns, her lips drawn into a serious line. The previous excitement over the bathtub is already forgotten. Yeah, could it be that she has like an ulterior motive here? Because it kinda feels a little bit like that. I wouldn't be surprised, like that would be like an interesting thing to see later. Why does she look so serious? We are out of the woods now, both literally and figuratively. We shouldn't be in any more danger. That's what I'd like to believe, but maybe the magic that cloaks Chapel Forest is further reaching than I or my grandma ever dared imagine. Or probably not though, like that's definitely not it. Like it should be something else. While Leo luxuriates in the tub, I search for some more suitable clothes she can change into. She can spend her days in Chapel attire, attired in her coarse green garb. That would surely draw attention. I can hardly let Leo wear my clothes. Only packed enough for me. Gran's clothes wouldn't fit, but I think Gran get hold of some of Aunt Leda and Aunt Allison's old clothes from back when they were teenagers. Gran's prone to nostalgia, and she finds it hard to part with things that remind her of the past. She even has poor Georgie the parrot's disused birdcage stashed somewhere in the attic. I should be able to find something that will fit Leo among my auntie's unwanted cast-offs, even if the styles will be 30 to 40 years out of date. Well, that should suit Leo down to a T. Her entire existence is out of date. Like 80s outfits or something like. Well, that will be interesting. I just hope she likes ruffled blouses and high-waisted skirts. And so, half an hour later. Yeah, well, that's... Well, not so like... I would say that it's like 80s. Like the skirt maybe, but... I don't know, I got the feeling that the... Like shirt fashion was a little different. But yeah, like this game, like this is like these interactions are fun. And it is like maybe like a little bit more than I expected even. But that's good, huh? Incredible. Is this really me? Leo examines her reflection in the mirror. Also like the fact that they have like a different outfit for her, like that's with double the artwork. The clothes she currently wearing came from Aunt Leda's wardrobe, and I think they suit her. Aunt Leda's fashion style has gotten progressively better as time's went on, but she didn't always dress in black, shapeless robes. Yeah, okay, so that's the weird aunt, so I guess it kinda adds up then, the fashion style. When she was my age, she was very fashion conscious and she had a lot of nice clothes to pick from. For the 1980s standards, that is. I know you don't look much like a knight, but it's the best I could do. Aunt Leda didn't have any chainmail in her drawers. Oh no, it's quite alright. I know I am a knight deep within my heart. I do not always need to dress the part. Though that is quite fulfilling too. I had no qualms with updating my look. I would not want to draw too much attention. Still, Leo twirls around in front of the mirror. This fabric feels so nice and soft. It must be awfully expensive. I doubt it. They are all mass-produced, even if they are a few decades old by this point. Maybe they'd fetch a decent amount if you sold them on eBay. People like vintage things. Yeah, probably like in the 80s, like the quality was better than it is like these days. Like some things they sell in stores, like they feel like outright like plasticky, like the fabric. And like sometimes it is so thin that you need like something below it, or well, it will be yikes. But like in the 80s, like they probably were of better quality. Well, I guess like these days you can have like quality too, but if you pay the money, if you have the luxury to have money. Anyway, eBay, it's all like a big shop, but you did not pay for this. Not a penny. They are Aunt Leda's old things. She's a grown woman now and doesn't wear these sorts of clothes anymore. Then tell your lovely aunt I said thank you. These clothes are so different to what I am accustomed to, though that is not a bad thing. It is quite refreshing, really, and seeing myself in a new light. I never knew my legs were quite this long. It is rather novel, only Leo tucks the hem of a polka dot skirt, a self-conscious blush tinging her cheeks. Don't you think this is a bit too short? Or like, I don't know, like it is longer than the main characters at least, because we can't even see the bottom of it. Not really. It's longer than mine and you're wearing tights. Like it is like at least like knee length. Which I think like it's pretty normal, like nothing weird about that. I figured this would be easier to walk in than odd leathers, bell-bottom trousers, but I can fetch you a pair if you'd prefer. Okay, now. So. Oh no, you are the one familiar with current fashion trends, not I. So I shall trust your judgment. Well, I'm not sure like how far like the like gender division between like in clothing department went in the 8th century, because like to an extent like the division is also like a modern construct to some degree, I feel. But also probably like cultural. And we don't like know too much about the things people were in the past, because well, fabric decays so fast. So like if you find like graves or something, like nothing will be left. So to a degree, like what we assume about history, like we don't really know if that is true. Like assuming that in the 8th century, women had to wear a skirt like always. Like not sure about that. In the 19th century, yes. Then like it would have been like a scandal to wear trousers. But in the 8th century, I don't know. I really am glad you took the time to find me some suitable clothes. You have proved yourself to be a very dear friend. Friends are we? I thought we were a lady and her knight. But I'll take friends over that any day of the week. More like which is higher in the hierarchy, like friends or lady and her knight. I don't have all that many friends back in Grimsby. Most of the girls in my class think I'm weird, and I guess I kinda am. I'm purposely gloomy and unenthused like Eeyore. But less cute. And I don't like making small talk, particularly about my looks. When I first started second school, girls were always trying to play with my hair without permission and cooing about how cute and small I was. I glared at them, baring my fangs, and they backed off sharply. Now nobody really tries to speak to me, other than a few fellow social recluses, Helena among them. It's not like I'm gagging for attention or anything, don't get me wrong, but being with love is kind of nice. Perhaps that's why I return the love-seeker smile with one of my own. Thanks, I'm glad I met you too, and if you really want, then sure, I'll be your friend. After a brief discussion by the mirror, I retreat to the bathroom so I can clean myself up. I didn't know quite how sore my muscles were until I sank into the tub. I have a few scrapes on my knees and a cut on my leg from my nasty fall, But that's nothing compared to the injuries Leo sustained on my behalf. Edmund's sword cut through her shoulder as though it was a slab of meat. He could have killed her, but she didn't make a single complaint. How was she able to withstand such a devastating blow? It must be magic. People's body isn't made of flesh and blood like mine, but something stronger. I luxuriate for a while, letting all the tension drain from my body as my hair curls about me on the water. My thoughts are focused, not on my own cleanness, not the stinging in my afflicted hand, but on my new friend. Leofha. She's a funny one. I don't know what to make of her. She's certainly strange. There's no two ways about that, but I guess I'll give her weird behavior a pass. It's not her fault. She came from a completely different era. If I was taken from the creature comforts of modern era and plunked down unceremoniously in the 8th century, I had no idea how I would react. I'd probably contract a life-threatening disease and tumble headfirst into a well after 5 minutes. Like the opposite of this story would be kind of like that. Like it would be like an interesting concept, like you get like thrown into the past and then like you have all the modern knowledge and you start to make like weird inventions. Like especially like if you go like really far into the past. But then you can just like something like water wheel is basically magic and like it's something that is like in the realm of possibility to craft. All things considered, Leo's taking this change of pace pretty well. Her enthusiasm must be catching me because I catch myself smiling, which is rare for me. I hardly ever smile. Over the course of my 16 years, I have learned that my smile encourages people to talk to me. But that's how it is, I guess. That's how it is. But not that like I smile too much normally either, like my default expression is pretty like that. Like people sometimes say that I have like a poker face because it's hard to say what my expression is. But like the VTuber though, like it is kind of different because I adjust it so that it picks up it easier. But also because it is fun to play these games, I guess, like that also helps. But like normally if I'm minding my own business, I'm probably like pretty like blank-faced. Most of these people mean well, of course, but fending up comments about how small and dainty I am, just how old are you really gets old pretty quick. It's easier to skulk around in the background, perpetual frown on my face. It keeps people at bay. In time, I started to double down on my unapproachable appearance. I caked my face in white foundation and ringed my eyes with dark eyeshadow, so I looked perpetually sleepy. I wore black and ripped fishnets, and strangers stopped making a fuss. Well, I kinda can see this now. Interesting. When I'm with Leof, I don't worry as much about appearances as I usually do though. I feel like I can afford to let my guard down with her. But just you wait. Maybe it's because she's so strange and unusual herself. Maybe it's because she's sworn herself to being my knight. She said she'd protect me. I don't know what it is she has to protect me from, but I do appreciate it. I hope I'll be able to return that favor one day. After my bath, Leof and I head downstairs to have dinner with my grandma. We don't eat in the dining hall, at the too large table made for 12. Instead, we take a relaxed, decidedly more cozy meal in the kitchen, which is filled with the homey scent of shepherd's pie. Gran's hand-eye coordination might not be what it used to, but she still knows her way around the kitchen. Her porridge this morning was hearty and nourishing, but she really shines when it comes to meat and veg. A shepherd's pie is delicious. It's golden brown on the outside, with just the right amount of crunch, but not even that can hold a candle to her Sunday roast. Gran's big Sunday roast were one of the main reasons why I endured our weekly trips to Fenchapel during my childhood. That and the fact that I got to play with Ruby and Pearl and Ella and David and Oliver. Sadly, my myriad cousins aren't here. Now it's just Gran, Leof and me. A trio small enough to fit about a small kitchen table that overlooks the garden. Here you go, Leof dear. I hope you like it. Gran sets a plate of steaming shepherd's pie down in front of Leof, with a hostess's proud smile upon her lips. There isn't enough for seconds, unfortunately, as I didn't know I'd be entertaining a guest. But you're more than welcome to help yourself to some cheese and crackers or some pudding. Do you like strawberries, dear? I have a lot of them and they need eating. I also have some apple pie I made a few days ago. It's still good. There's one more slice left. You can have that with clotted cream if you like. Now this is like prime grandmother territory, I guess. Like based on my experiences. Leave Leof alone, Gran. You're overwhelming her. Just let her enjoy her dinner in peace. Oh yes, you're quite right, of course. Forgive me, where are my manners? I don't mean to overwhelm you, dear. Please forgive this old woman. I'm just glad to have somebody else around here to liven this place up. Now feel free to dig in. Don't wait for me. You're a growing girl, and nothing makes me happier than seeing people enjoy my food. This. Leof stares at the plate of shepherd's pie in awe. Her eyes are positively sparkling, as though she's never seen a more amazing sight. Forget the Eiffel Tower, or the leaning tower of Pisa or Big Ben. The most amazing landmark in all of Europe is, without a shadow of doubt, my grandma's cooking. Is this food really all for me? No, it isn't for the neighbor's cat. But yes, I had never seen food that looks like this before. Leof shifts a little closer to me and mumbles under her breath. What is this, Mani? It's yellow, but parts of it also look brown, and it's so fluffy. It's mashed potato. Potato. Oh yeah, potatoes are from the America and weren't the thing until 15th century or 16th, something like that. I guess like there isn't like much that is like really similar. I don't know, like parsnip or something. But it's not like even close to the same. That's right. Don't you know what potatoes are? I thought that was medieval people. That was all medieval people ate, potatoes and meat. Why am I mixing up something? I got the feeling that potato didn't exist. Like corn didn't exist at least, but no, surely potato didn't exist either. Because I remember stories like when potatoes first came to Europe, like people would eat like the berry things on the bushes and not like the actual potato. So like surely potato didn't exist. We really had meat when I was a young girl. It was too expensive. The rabbit was one of my favorites. Then what did you eat? Like I guess wheat. Mostly bread, eggs and oats. We had vegetables that were grown from the ground too, like carrots and cabbages. We had too much cabbage actually. I soon began to tire of it. I was partial to honey, though sweet foods like that were not particularly common. We were unable to afford spices, but sometimes we had mint and parsley. These potatoes though, Eve sinks the tines of her fork deeper into the soft fluffy mound of mashed potatoes on her plate. They are quite perplexing. Are they like parsnips? Yeah, I think they kinda are. Well, I guess they are both root vegetables, but they taste a little different. Seriously though, how can you not know what a potato is? Jeff's bemusement over photographs and running water was expected, but I never thought she'd be stumped by something as simple as a common potato. Have you been living under a rock these last few years? Yes, pretty much. More than a few years. I was sleeping in a forest, but I do not believe there were many rocks around me. But it's useless using proverbs around her. It's too old-fashioned, and she doesn't understand. Much like she doesn't understand potatoes. Did people in medieval England really not have access to potatoes? I thought they could grow everywhere. I'm pretty sure like they were an import. But like this somehow makes me question myself. I'll have to look this up later. It's a good thing my phone still gets a sliver of signal, even though Venchapel's in the middle of nowhere. I'm most interested in these potatoes. I suppose I shall dig in. Jeff brings a spoonful of shepherd's pie to her lips. Steam rises from the mashed potatoes and she blows out on it delicately, perhaps afraid of burning her tongue before she puts it in her mouth. She closes her eyelashes matting together as she chews. She swallows then. My goodness, I had no idea that potatoes could be so very delicious. This is such a rich, complex mixture of flavors. The meat is juicy and the potatoes are soft but crispy at the same time. I know. This is amazing. It is the most wonderful thing I have ever had in all my life. This must be the stuff that kings and lords subside on. I simply must try more. Leo digs into her food eagerly. All traces of her earlier skepticism gone. Gran watches her from across the table, smiling genially. It seems my shepherd's pie is going down a treat. Do you like it, Leaf? Very much so. Leaf is so moved by the shepherd's pie, she momentarily forgets herself. Speaking with her mouth full, how ungallant, but Gran doesn't seem to mind. Instead, she laughs. I'm glad. Just don't eat too quickly, dear. I don't want you to choke. Oh, I will be careful, my good woman. I would not want to waste a single scrap of your food. Really though, you must be some kind of enchantress to procure something so wonderful from such simple ingredients. Well, Frank always did say I had magic fingers in the kitchen. Perhaps he was right. Oh, don't confuse her even further. I didn't magic this up from nothing though. Most of the ingredients came from Sainsbury's, but the carrots were grown in our very own garden. There's some onions in there too, and peas, and Worcestershire sauce for taste. That she don't know for sure. I know some people don't like Worcestershire sauce, but I'm glad it's been such a hit. It is incredible. If only my father had been able to cook like this. I fear I am not worthy of so rare a delicacy. Tears begin to beat in Leo's eyes. Does she like the food so much it's brought her to tears? No way. My grandma's cooking is good, but it's not that good. Just how bland was the food Leo used to eat? Yeah, I don't know, like it's probably like really hard to cook good food on like a stove that operates on wood or something. If they even had like a stove, like maybe it was like a fireplace and like a pot on top of that, something like that, depending on where you lived. I like you know, like when you have a stove, like it matters a lot, like what the temperature is, but you can't really control that, so maybe it's tough to make anything good. Well, cabbage, like it can't be great. For example, and I guess like they could have had like beans or something. It's not like the ingredients weren't there to make something good. But could always be like that issue. I hardly dare imagine. So money. Whatever happened to my picnic hamper? Oh, shoot, I knew I was forgetting about something. I must have left it in the forest. I squirm guiltily. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm being interrogated by my head of year. It's the money Lennox told Liana Davis to drink bleach during PE. Incident all over again. Not that I was to blame for that. I mean, yeah, I did tell Liana Davis to drink bleach, but she told me I was so short I looked like Creaker from Harry Potter. And then she pinched the back of my bra strap when I was getting changed. She deserved it. My head of year, Mrs. Gillespie, was not convinced. I'm sorry, Gran. I was so caught up meeting Leo at the bus stop, it kinda slipped my mind. I think I must have left it in the forest. You're not mad, are you? Oh no, quite the contrary. I'm just glad to see you're in one piece, dear. But the temper was old, wasn't it? You have had it for years. Oh, it's true, but it's not gone forever. I'm sure you'll be able to find it eventually. And if I can't? That would be unfortunate, yes. But there's no need to worry. The temper is only an object. I don't store my memories inside physical things. They are all inside my head, you see, which is physical. Nah, that's what Gran says, but I have my doubts. If that's true, why has she hung on the judge's birdcage and Aunt Lena's clothes and my dad's toy train set? Maybe she's more upset than she's letting on. I'm rather more curious about the gift I slipped into the hamper. Did you find it, dear? Oh yes, that's right. I was going to thank you, but I totally forgot. It's right here, Gran. I pat my skirt pocket, where the necklace lies, hidden out of sight. Thanks for the gift, I really appreciate it. You're welcome, dear. I thought it might come in handy. Yeah, it did. Keep it close, alright. You never know when you may need it. It's a precious heirloom that's been passed down on my side of the family for generations. It's imbued with all sorts of powers. I just hope it can keep you safe. There are 5 bedrooms in my grand's home. Back in the days of yore, when the Lennox family was together as one, my grandparents slept in the master bedroom, with its large double bed and its walk-in wardrobe that smelled of rosewater. Uncle Jim, being the oldest child, had the second largest bedroom in the house all to himself. He populated it with dirty socks and plates covered in crumbs of pilfered meat pies. My grand's always been a dapper hand in the kitchen, and it used to smell of fusty teenage boy when he was younger. Or so my dad says. My dad's never liked Uncle Jim very much. Maybe that's because there's a 10-year age gap between them, and my Uncle Jim took advantage of this at every chance he got. Uncle Jim was always bossing my dad around when they were kids. Once when he caught my dad fiddling with his radio, he hit my dad over the head with it and broke it. Well, that wasn't pride, so... Nope. The third largest bedroom went to the oldest daughter, Allison, while the fourth bedroom belonged to the youngest daughter, Leda. My dad, being the youngest, had to share his bedroom with Uncle Stephen until Uncle Jim moved out. Then he took Uncle Jim's room. Gran still sleeps in her own bedroom, and I chose Aunt Leda's old room as my temporary bedroom. Aunt Leda's room is small but cozy, and it overlooks the garden. From the wide windows, you can see a nice view of the lake. I think it's fairly nice as far as rooms go. I'm particularly fond of the vanity table by the old wooden wardrobe, with the rosebuds carved around the mirror and the brass handles. As it stands, there are 3 rooms in my grandma's house that Leo could use to sleep in. It's not like those diasotids of beds, unlike the inn in Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, supposedly. I know more about Jesus than I'd like. One of my mom's sisters, own choice, is a devout Catholic, and she has lost no time in lecturing me about fire and brimstone whenever she babysat me. Okay, sure. Maybe she was hoping to scare me into submission. I know she used to terrorize my mother when they were younger. That being the case, this current situation doesn't make any sense. I can't wrap my head around it. What are you doing in my room? Please do not raise your voice, my lady. My purposes are not nefarious, I promise. Oh, are they not? I have come here because I must. As your knight, it is my duty to protect you, and to do that, I must remain by your side. I'm not sold on the excuse. I get all that, but you'd really need to stick to me 24/7, even when I'm asleep. I gladly cares about my welfare so much, but I think she might be taking things a bit too far. This all sounds kind of fishy, if you ask me. Yeah, it kinda does. Oh yes, it's imperative that I stay by you at all times. You are at your most vulnerable when you are asleep. That is precisely when you need my protection the most. But I'm staying with my crown. It's not like there's anything here that would hurt me. Right? Of that, I am not certain. Perhaps you are correct, and I am being too cautious. But it is better to be safe than sorry. Is that not how the old saying goes? Like, it is a really old saying, I guess. So you're familiar with that turn of phrase too, huh? I thought she was impervious to proverbs, but I guess some sayings are universal enough. They can even span centuries. As you know, the forest that borders this village is full of mysterious creatures and ill omens. It is entirely possible they could lurk the darkened streets when the moon is high. Yeah, sure. It is almost a full moon, you see. Leo points out of the window. I follow the direction of her finger. Through the birds, the inky night sky beyond the window is illuminated by a round pale moon, which we sadly can't see. It isn't quite a moon yet, but only a small sliver is needed to create the perfect pearly circle. It's not like I believe in astrology, or that the shifting of the planets can impact our personalities or relationships. So many bizarre things have happened to me today. The almost full moon looks oddly eerie. Yeah, but I kinda got the feeling that the pattern is like it is just like ulterior motives. I can't help but shudder. Maybe the full moon does signify something celestially important. What do I know? The world is much more mysterious than I ever gave it credit for. The full moon is said to contain untold powers. Why, I have heard emperors were driven to madness because of it. Well, it is nonsense though. They were just like dummies. It was probably like power or something and not moon. I would never forgive myself if you were hurt because of my own carelessness. That is why I must stay with you as your knight. Leof's intense eyes bore into mine. I swallow abashed and look away. I guess it's no use talking her around. She's as immovable as a boulder, and she refuses to budge. Being stubborn must have been a prerequisite for any knight back in the day, particularly a female one, for sure. From what little I know about the early 80s, it wasn't a wonderful period to be a woman. I don't think I can dissuade Leof. It isn't possible. Alright, fine. You can stay in this room with me if you really want. But where are you going to sleep? The floor isn't very cozy, and I don't have a camp bed. That is a simple matter. I will sleep by your side, in this very bed. There is plenty of room, and I will be at hand to protect you should the need arise. Yeah, very smooth there, knight. It really is a perfect plan. Perfect, you say? I don't know about that. Why, what is the problem, my lady? There's a whole bunch of problems. For one thing, we are still strangers. Really, but I thought we were friends. We can be friends, but that doesn't mean I wanna sleep with you. This is all moving too soon. I beg your pardon. Forget it. This is just it. It will never work. There's no way I can share my bed with you. I cannot change your mind. No, you can't. So don't even bother. That's my final word, and I'm sticking to it. That's final. Nope. For now. But despite my protests, I find myself sharing my bed with Leof. Okay. Well, then it is. Then it is that. My bed? Well, it's accidentally a old bed, but she lives over in York now, so it's not like she has any use for it. Isn't that small, but Leo's body still feels way too close to mine. Maybe that's a form of magic too. Yeah, gay magic or something. Why is my heart beating so hard? Her legs keep brushing against my own beneath the covers, and her brown hair tickles my cheeks. Every time she exhales, her breath dances against the nape of my neck, and I shudder. This is unbearable. It feels like a torture. The full moon might have driven the Emperor Caligula to madness. Not that I know much about history, but at least he didn't have to reckon with Leof. How am I gonna sleep like this? I turn about in bed, rumpling at the covers, and examine my gently dozing companion. Let me get the audio keyboard handy. Her eyelashes are matted together, and her lips are faintly pursed in sleep, almost like a princess from a fairy story. Though she's a knight and doubly skilled with a sword, she really is pretty. I need to stop thinking thoughts like this, or I'll never be able to get any side-eye. Jeez. I sigh. Some brave noble knight you are. You fell asleep before I did. Leo doesn't reply. She's cocooned deeply in the world of sleep, her eyes closed. She looks much as she did when I first found her in the forest, sword in hand, head lolling just like a life-size doll. But shallow though it is, Leo's chest is unmistakably moving up and down in sleep. Her lips part, and her minty breath toothpaste was another novelty to my self-proclaimed knight brushes my cheek. She really is alive. She's real. That this all feels fantastic, but how can I deny the truth when it's inches away from my face? I find a sleeping knight in an enchanted glade deep within the forest. I thought nothing interesting ever happens in Friendshipple, but I was wrong. I feel like I have embarked upon an adventure of a lifetime. This is undoubtedly amazing, but what am I going to do with you? I sigh again. I had to go back home soon, you know. My parents will pick me up in a few days. Then where will you go? You don't have any family or any friends. You're all alone. Leo doesn't stir. She continues to lie there, immobile, unaware of how much trouble she's causing. You can stay with me and my crown for a while, but who knows what will happen after that. It's not like I can take you to Grimspy with me. You're a real girl, not a pet. I can hardly beg my parents to take you in. It's not possible. They'd think I was mad, and who knows, maybe I am. I reach out hesitantly and coil a strand of Leo's brown hair about my index finger just to double check she really is real. Her hair is soft and silky. It feels cool against my skin. I shiver. Hey Leo, what do you think? Where will you go when this is all over? What will you do? Nah. Leo sighs in her sleep. She turns over, pulling the covers with her, and buries her cheek against her pillow. Softly, so softly, I think I must be imagining it. She murmurs something beneath her breath. Perhaps it's just my imagination, but I swear it sounds just like Edmund. Well, this would be good spot to call it a day. That was like a really nice scene. Let's see. That's interesting, like, is like basically like hinting towards like there will be problems coming in the future that we need to deal with. That's nice. Yeah, that's it for today, I guess. Like I was actually like a little bit worried in the, well, not exactly morning when I woke up, but I had like a little bit of a flu, but it seems to have been nothing luckily. But yeah, this is a good game. I like it. And like, yeah, eager to play more next week. Probably will continue until next year too. But yeah, thank you for watching and everything. It was a blast again. And See you next week. Bye bye.